We've been looking at the topic of service to the Lord and all the various things that are part of that. As I've been thinking about the topic and I was thinking about how I read through the New Testament, again and again I'm struck by how Jesus is critical of the religious people, the people that were actually seeking to serve the Lord. When I look at them and I see them through Jesus' eyes, it's easy for me to be critical of them and their behavior. But I feel that if we put them in our current setting, they would appear to be the best Christians we know. They would be the people that would be at every service when the church was open. They would come early, they would leave late. They would be the people that we serving in all kinds of various ways. They would know their Bible. When verses were talked about, they would find the verses right away. They'd be able to quote them from memory. They would be the people that when we look at them, they would be the models of Christians. In fact, we would actually aspire to be just like them. And yet, when we think of Jesus and his measurement of the religious leaders, we realize that Jesus used a very different measuring stick when it came to evaluating people. There's numerous examples of this throughout the scripture. I was thinking how in Luke 21, the woman that gave only a few copper coins, in our eyes, she didn't give much. And the people that gave a lot of money would be the people that would be applauded. But Jesus applauded the widow because she gave out of all that she had. In numerous places, Jesus criticizes the religious leaders, the people that seem to be serving the Lord the best. In fact, Matthew 23 is the whole chapter is full of criticisms of all the various things the religious leaders were doing, but their motivation in doing and what they were doing was wrong. The Apostle Paul uses the human body as a metaphor of the church, and he talks about how each part of the body is important and has value for all that the church is doing. I'm always encouraged by it when I think about the fact that how each of us use our gifts in service to the church. It matters, that it has value. And yet I find that we're often critical of ourselves, but it's way too easy to be critical of others. But it also made me think about how critical of us is Jesus. I find that we often give greater honor to certain ways that people worship or serve the Lord. But what God measures is different. In God's economy, all the gifts that people have and use have the same value. We tend to measure things based on what we're doing, but God measures based on our heart and our motivation. In Galatians chapter 1, the Apostle Paul comments about his need to watch his motivation. And he asks the question of himself, am I seeking to serve men or am I seeking to serve God? The Old Testament prophet Jeremiah gives a great guideline for us as we think about our motivation. In Jeremiah 17:10, he says, I, the Lord, search the heart and test the mind, to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. It's amazing to think that everything we do has the ability to be service and worship to God, as long as our motivations in doing so are right. I was thinking about how do I illustrate the fact that the heart is really what matters. And I was thinking about how I have a number of portraits that have been made for me. One was made as part of a college art class, an assignment for the class. The other was made just out of the joy of doing so. I'm not an art critic, but I don't think either one of these pieces are going to end up in a museum. One was made by my daughter as a college student, and it was a self-portrait that she had to do of wearing a hat. And she did a great job of capturing herself, and I loved the hat. The other was done by my son as a 4-year-old. You know, the quality of the art in each of these is different. But it isn't about the quality of the art. What matters to me is the person that did them and the heart that it was given to me in. Both of them hold my heart. I was thinking about it, how God feels the same way about us. He loves us, and we don't earn his love and favor by what we do. He loves us, and when we do what we're created to do what we're created to be, it's worship, and he loves it. We were created to serve him, and it's all about our heart as we serve him with the gifts that he's given us.